Thank you very much, Kwamrul. It's always a pleasure to have these exchanges with you and to think together a little bit about the negotiation process with a little bit more distance than when we are just sitting together and running from one negotiation room to the other. And it's interesting really to look back now with a little distance to the COP and to make assessment how successful it was with the Glasgow Climate Pact, but also looking at all the decisions together. And for us, I think we have on the discussion prior to the COP, for us as Switzerland, but also for me and for the AG, there were basically 3 areas and 3 criteria for success for the COP. And that was rules, ambition, and finance. We had hoped that the COP will adopt robust rules on transparency, on markets, on common timeframes. They will also adopt a set of decisions that helps us to keep 1.5 degree in reach. And thirdly, also finance, that we launch a process, a forward-looking, solution-oriented process to develop together a good new finance target for the time post-2025 that will really have a positive impact on the ground. And our impression is really that the COP did deliver on all of these 3 areas. Let me just highlight a few of them, and then in the discussion I come back to them later again. I think on the rules, we were able to adopt transparency rules that are robust, that really require a good reporting, and that foresee flexibility for those countries who need flexibility in the light of their capacity. And finally, also capacity support is provided in the decisions adopted in Glasgow. And that's exactly the kind of rules that we need in order to make sure that the Paris approach functions. The Paris approach that invites countries to submit nationally determined contributions, which are not legally binding as such, but the transparency, a robust transparency scheme will ensure that countries make everything to achieve the targets that they have formulated. So I would say a very good outcome on transparency. Also markets. On markets, we have an excellent outcomes that really prevents double counting between indices, that prevents double counting between indices on the one side and international mitigation systems like CORSIA or systems that could be developed in the context of maritime navigations. Double count is excluded there as well. And in addition to that, we also create for the first time certificates for other purposes, for the private market, that will include corresponding adjustment and therefore also prevent double counting or double claiming between private market and NDC. So also there we think a really very good outcome. The pill that we have to accept, not as positive outcome with regard to markets, certainly is a big carryover that we have to accept. But at the same time, we also know that the demand for that carryover will be very limited. So far, no country has announced it has an interest in this carryover. Several countries have announced, like Switzerland or Japan, that they will not buy such units from the carryover. And the third area of rules, that's a common time frames, where I think we also are able to agree on a good outcome, a call to all countries to use in future 5-year time frames for the NDCs. And I think that is also the most positive outcome that we could expect, because we knew that the legally binding decision will not be possible. So a very good outcome on rules. And let us remind, rules, that's the core business of the COPs. And I think there the COP was really very successful. But also on ambition, with the Glasgow Climate Pact, we were adopting a decision now looking at mitigation, inviting or calling countries to revisit their indices with aspiration to increase them, inviting and urging countries to submit long-term strategies, establishing a working plan on 2030 ambitions, organizing ministerial meetings to look at these 2030 ambitions, and even mentioning coal for the first time as something that we have to phase down, not phase out, but phase down, which is the first step towards a phase out. And that's a very positive outcome. On ambition, we were launching a 2-year process to look closer what has to be done in order to put into operation the global goal on adaptation. We are agreeing on a doubling of adaptation support. And we're also launching a process to look more on loss and damages. So there, I think also that Glasgow Climate Pact is really a positive and ambitious outcome. And on finance, in addition to agreeing on a doubling of the adaptation finance, I think we were able to set up a process that is robust to develop a new goal on climate finance for post-2025, which will be really critical. It will not be a number that will just be presented from nobody knows where it's coming from. It will be a goal that we are able to develop together with the objective to make sure that this new finance globe will help implementation on the ground and will help us also to make sure that we are achieving the 1.5-degree objective. So in a nutshell, in the summary, I would say it was a very successful COP. It was a COP that helped up through its decision on rules, through its decision on transparency, and through its decisions on finance to keep 1.5 degree in reach. And that was at the end the main objective of the COP, and I think we were able to deliver on that.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Franz Paris, for